So I guess like for you, because you're the expert in the area, are there any financial strategies or systems that you found that were effective in improving cash flow and basically driving, business growth?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we've kind of already talked about, forecasting. So understanding where you are there, that's one thing. Another tool that I like to do, I do with most of my clients is valuing the business.
Mm-hmm.
Not just it's nice to know how much it might be worth, but it's also that becomes a great way to kind of measure how you're doing. And just like, looking at the receipt from 2 years ago and what it costs today, valuing your business is the same basic approach. And, it's actually like a 25-page report. And so we do all kinds of ratios and financial analysis too, to, are we borrowing a reasonable amount or too much? Are our margins, maintaining, or are they declining? So, if you look at that, let's say every quarter, and start looking at those numbers, you've got kind of a scorecard to help you look at your key indicators of what's really going on in your business, what's going to really make a difference. If you start to get a little history and, start to look at, wow, our margins are dropping, what's happening? Oh, well, now all of a sudden we go, wow, costs of this one material have gone up. There's a shortage. I've been working with this chemical company for about 4 years, and they buy, these various chemicals and mix them together and turn them into new products for their customers. And it'd be all of a sudden, for, not just through the pandemic, but just because of, inflation and shortages and trade disruptions, they won't have a raw material they need. So they have to substitute for something else. And so now that costs more. And so all of a sudden that reduced their margin because they hadn't changed the price to their customer. And so having those kind of metrics, that scorecard to keep track of what's going on in your business really can help you react more quickly. It's just like the cash flow forecast helps you make adjustments. Having a scorecard helps you make adjustments.
Yeah. And I guess too, because you've been around for so long, you've helped so many people with a lot of different financial things. Is there something that you can, as a lesson from, earlier failures, like the .com secret or .com crash, I meant, anything that would teach us in terms of how we should approach business today, or how you would approach business today?
Well, yeah, I mean, right now, if you look at AI, everybody's into AI, and I think AI is going to be, very useful. I use AI, but, if you remember, if you're able to remember back to the .com, 20 whatever years ago, well, the internet's going to change the world. And, now here we are 25 years later, and it has. But, in 1999, we thought it was going to, everybody kind of said, oh, it's going to change the world tomorrow. And it really didn't. So technology is really valuable. I'm a big fan of technology, but keep in mind, it takes time to implement this, to put this into, people's habits, into people's life, into businesses. So, be cautious about getting over enthusiastic about the next big thing, whether that's technology or something like that. I can, I lost a few bucks in the .com, so I can kind of share a little experience there. I started a B2B platform to trade industrial products, and it was going great right up until the .com bust, and then that, no more funding, it all collapsed. Keeping track of the basics. There's another company that I was part of that we grew the company 7x in 4 years. It's phenomenal growth. We're going great. But the CEO got sick, and I was a CFO in this one. And, like never ever come back into work again sick. And so
Wow.
his, his wife, very nice person, took over, but she had a very different business background and took a different approach to things and didn't pay attention to, the forecast, the scorecard, the relationships with, supporting the employees, and it all fell apart. It actually ended up, the sales went down faster than they'd gone up. So, keep track of your information, forecast scorecards, and, pay attention to managing people. And then don't get sucked into the next big thing too easily there.
Right.